Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to look at the title of this video and you're going to be all like, but this movie's not for the pretentious critics. It's for the fans who love Mario. And as a fan who loves Mario, I agree with the critics. And I will tell you in this video why that is and the couple of points I keep on seeing on the internet that debunks, the quality of the movie and why it is the way it is. Just like what the critics say, the movies are not good movies. They are fan service. Now, if you go into a movie looking just for fan service, you don't care about the plot or anything like that. If you're fine with the bare bones plot and you just want to eat up references and that's what you want and that's what you get, you're going to think it was a good movie because you got what you wanted. Almost like junk food. You know you're going to go grab a bag of chips. You know exactly where you're getting a bag of chips. But that bag of chips isn't the same as going to a restaurant and getting a meal. These are two different experiences. Even though you expect a certain thing out of them, you have your certain expectations out of these things, and you get what you expected. It doesn't make the chips better than the prepared meal just because you expected them to be chips. This is all the Mario movies are. I could tell by the trailers of both of the movies, more so the second one than the first one, where they're just going to be, hey, here's a bunch of Mario things thrown at you with very little connectivity. We're just going to jump from one scene to the other and just throw references at you. And that doesn't make a good movie. The critics, while I don't align with the critics all the time, critics look at a movie, as the product itself, it being a movie, despite what fans and biases would like out of the movie. Can this movie, without any of the fan service, without any of the imagery, like being relatable, can this movie stand on its own? And no, it can't. If this same type of movie was made, but it had a different IP, or it was an original IP, but it was told the same way, it was paced the same way, the characters acted in the same ways, this would not be looked at as good movies. It's definitely being carried by the IP and the fact that it's not the 1993 live action piece of shit movie. And I think because it's not that these movies are fantastic in comparison. Which, yes, in comparison, League's better. But doesn't make the movie good just because it's compared to an actual pile of shit. And that's from the critic end. Is it a good movie? Can't stand by itself with the shallow story and the weird pacing, that no moments to breathe for the plot, and every scene not really connected to each other that well, and just being there for fan service. No, see, like that's how the critics are looking at it. Now, as a fan, I also don't like the things that they've done with the movies, because even though, yes, the Mario movies have a shallow plot, and the Mario games have a shallow plot, so it makes sense in the shallow plot points, characters still have their own personalities, and characters still have their motivations, and they have their own power scaling. There's certain things that certain characters are. Spoilers, by the way. Doing things like making Mario into a bumbling idiot who doesn't know what he's doing at the beginning of the first movie, and having Princess Peach teach him everything, like how to fight, is very much not their characters. Making Rosalina a damsel in distress and having less lines than Star Fox, which Star Fox being the Mario movie, I guess, the Galaxy movie, because, and he's the Galaxy, adventurer. Having her as the damsel in distress doesn't make sense. Rosalina was never in that type of role. She was never perceived as weak in that kind of way. She should have been a guide for Mario to help Princess Peach and get the castle back, opposed to being captured herself. Especially with the trailer of showing how powerful she really is. Like, there's no reason why she should have gotten captured. Like, it doesn't make sense for that to be the case. Like, I have my own gripes with the Sonic movies, but they are fantastic films because even though they are very much not in the continuity of the games, they still stay outside of Gerald Robotnik in the second movie, or in the third movie, sorry. They stay true to the characters and who they are, with some liberties here and there, but they stay pretty true to the characters, and it's very believable and relatable to, like, hey, I know how these characters are in the games, and they are very much about the same in the movies. Like, it feels good, and it feels like, yes, these are the characters I know, and I don't feel that with the Mario movies. I get it. Sonic has more lore and plot than Mario when it comes to games, but I still feel like they miss some of the characterizations. And then, again, it's just references. It is really just jingling keys in front of a kid type movie, which, sure, if you want to just digest slop, like, it is a eye-catching movie. These two movies are eye-catching, and they're fun in the way of turn your brain off, don't care about anything, just watch the plumber jump on things, you know? That goes to my second point, though, of people saying that the video games don't have a whole lot of plot, so the movies won't have a lot of plot, won't have strong storytelling. The thing about that is, video games can have shallow to no story, just a premise to facilitate the gameplay. A movie can't do that. You can't play a movie in the same sense of, I am interacting with this thing and my decisions matter, or whatever, like, I'm overcoming this challenge. You're just watching a movie. A movie needs to have a good story to be captivating to somebody who is not watching it just for fan service, i.e. critics. A game has gameplay, and it can be carried by the gameplay. A movie does not. So the point of Mario games don't have that deep of a plot or that strong of a story, so the movies don't have to, is not a good point. And that also leads to, it's a kids movie. So why do you care so much that if it's written well, if it's just a kids movie? To think kids, which these are family flicks, these are not baby movies. These are family flicks for anybody to enjoy. Even though they are targeted towards kids, they should be for everybody to enjoy, because that's the type of film they are. It's like thinking an E for everybody game is just for kids, when no, it's for everybody to enjoy. Just same thing with a PG film or PG-13 film. If it's not directed towards actual toddler babies, then presumably it's for the whole family. But let's say you take, adults out of the equation, which, by the way, 40-year-old franchise, adults are going to want to watch the Mario movie because they grew up with Mario, so you should have something good for them as well. Why do you think kids deserve lesser media? Why do you think kids deserve to just have slop? That is not a point for the movie. And we could still have kid films and still have a great story. Classic Disney and Pixar does this very often. You have Hercules, Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Lion King. These are all movies that are meant for kids, but they don't also insult their intelligence with it being just, here's the references. Here's this next colorful thing. We can't stay on this scene too much because now you're gonna lose interest because you're a TikTok kid. Oh, let's go to the next thing. By the way, I watch a lot of TikToks, but that's the type of attention span these creators or these movie producers think kids have. And the fact that you are making movies for kids who don't have any attention span is just going to make the problem worse, and kids are not going to be able to sit with harder moments, be able to sit with a conversation. They just have to go to the next flashing light. So I wish people put more respect on kid films, because we used to put respect on kid films. The reason why I think this way, and I think about this way about these movies, because I respect the property. I wanted a Mario movie to be great on its own. We have video game movies that do that. We had Detective Pikachu's Pokemon. Let's just throw a bunch of Pokemon references. No, they gave you plenty of Pokemon references. References are good. You want to reference the series that you are making the movie about, but it was still a good story and still had a good message. And while I don't think messaging is required, it was still good to have. And the story is deeper. And yes, Pokemon stories tend to be deeper than Mario stories, but this is my point. Kids love Pokemon just because they look cool and the fun gameplay. There's a lot of kids who just skip dialogue because they don't care about the story when they are 7, 8, 9 years old. But that doesn't mean the story shouldn't be there, because there are kids out there that will skip the story. The story should still be there. And then, so the Detective Pikachu movie, having a deeper story, worked out for the movie. Same thing with the Sonic movies. Yes, Sonic has lore. Sonic's stories are deeper than Mario, but that's still my point. You can do this with entertaining everybody, opposed to just thinking, oh, we just have to entertain kids. Let's just throw some references, throw some flashing lights, and move on with our day. Like, I want more respect for these movies, and I want the producers to respect the movies more than just boiling it down to references. Because throwing a bunch of references isn't going to make a fantastic film that will live on. And I really hope that what they're doing with the Legend of Zelda movie, which, by the way, should have been animated. I know a lot of people say Studio Ghibli. I think there's some better studios than Ghibli for a Zelda film, but I wouldn't be mad if Ghibli did it. Studio Ghibli is still a great studio. But I digress. Even though it's live action, and I hate that it's live action, that really knocks a bunch of points for me. I do hope they still give as much care to that as I think they should. And same thing with the probably inevitable, Star Fox movie. If Illumination's going to do it, Illumination's not good with the whole story thing. So, and the fact that I feel like they're going to dumb down the Star Fox story makes me dread what they're going to do with a Star Fox movie in the future. If they did a movie like that Star Fox Zero short, which they totally should have made a TV series out of, if they were going to do it like that short was amazing. That Star Fox Zero promotional short, fantastic. Do it like that. But if they're going to make a Star Fox movie in the same style as this Mario movie, I feel like it's not going to capture the same story and the same feeling as what the Star Fox games, especially like 64, like with a deeper story and the darker themes, but like the lighter tones still in it. Like, I don't think Illumination is the studio for that. So my point is that the critics are correct. These movies are not good movies. They're good references. They're good at showing you, Mario things. Also, they had to ruin the first movie with putting in pop songs, like, instead of, like, Mario music, which was dumb. And I get the forever battle against general audience and critics, but really it's just two different minds looking at the movies in two different ways. And the general audience will have more of a bias or go more through emotion than critics will, trying to be as objective as they can be, opposed to very emotional. So yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. It's like seeing the discourse online, like, if you like the movie, like, it's fine. You definitely, you went in the theater expecting to eat potato chips, you ate potato chips. But if you think that these are actual good movies that can stand on their own, then I think you need to look at the movies in a different way, because they really, to me, especially as a fan, are not fantastic movies. And yes, I very much like the Sonic movies over the Mario movies. Not just because I'm more of a fan of Sonic than I am of Mario. And yes, Mario has a better track record of video games, and I love both series. But I felt like the Sonic movies at least did justice to the stories and to the world, even though they definitely have their own canon with their own rules and own lore. but at least they stayed true to the vibe and the feeling of the original games and still gave us enough references and enough tie-ins to be like, oh yeah, I know that thing, or oh yeah, this story is very reminiscent of this and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wish the stories for the Mario movies were better. And I wish the movies weren't just references the movie. And I wish more people saw the movies for what they are and didn't insult the intelligence of kids while making their points of why these movies are rated high for the reason they are for the audience score.